Web users in the Netherlands will soon regain access to the infamous Pirate Bay file-sharing site for multimedia, including music and movies. That, as an appeals court has overturned a previous ruling that ordered providers to ban access to the portal. Well, to discuss this, I can now cross live to Ted Rall. He's a political columnist from Florida. Now, Ted, the court basically stated that the ban was inefficient as internet users find ways to download pirated content anyway. So is this an admission that it's really going to be impossible to regulate the internet?
Well, I think that boat sailed about 15 years ago. Anyone who tries to regulate the internet at this point seems to be failing. It's a very interesting case, though, because it seems to rely on the legal concept of arbitrary and capriciousness. In other words, the law which applied specifically to this site which should apply to all sites, obviously, and if they were only going after this one and ineffectively at that, then what's the point? And it's unfair. But there's obviously broader implications, such as intellectual property rights, the motivation of, for example, movie studios, creative people, cartoonists and writers. Those kinds of people have to be able to earn a living. So it's an interesting balance between internet freedom and the fact that digitization has made it very difficult for copyright holders to enforce those rights.
Well, you're a creative man, and the victors of this case, they said this guarantees freedom of access to information, but of course it also guarantees freedom to steal, doesn't it? And people in your profession, as you mentioned, other creative people, this is bad news, isn't it?
It is bad news for people like me. Unfortunately, it seems to be that we're spitting into the wind here because there's not much we can do about it. This is a technological change that is just not, we can't put this genie back into the bottle. I myself have a number of books that are pirated and piratable online, and with a click of a button you can download an ebook version of my book that is indistinguishable from the legitimate one that you would order from Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and that's money I'm not going to get. And there's a lot of authors who are literally not going to be able to make a living doing this in the future. And I think some people don't care. A lot of libertarian types think, well, people will write anyway. They'll do it as a hobby. But what we're really talking about is the digital dark ages. We're going to go back to a time when only the rich or the people with extra time or the psychotic are still writing and drawing and making music.
And Ted, the Netherlands, of course, is a traditionally liberal country, isn't it? Do you think, though, that other countries will follow this lead?
Well, I mean, you've already sort of seen some precedents here in the States with the Napster fiasco. That the federal authorities came down very hard on Napster, the music file sharing site, more than 10 years ago. And, in the end, they weren't able to do anything about it. I mean, what was interesting, what did come out of it was iTunes. And the fact that people are willing to pay for music, they're willing to pay for video. If it's made easy and convenient, they will do it. Now, piracy is inconvenient. Anybody who's tried to download anything illegally, and I don't know anyone like that, but let's just say if I had ever tried that, it's pretty hard. You don't know if you're going to get a virus. There's lots of sketchy spam websites. There's a lot of phishing going on, people trying to steal your identity. So, it's kind of the Wild West out there. And at this point, I think it's mostly for the kids still. What's going to get scary is when it gets more professionalized.
Ted, really interested to get your thoughts on this. Thanks so much for your time. Ted Rall, political cartoonist, columnist and author, live here on RT International. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.